So if you want to start the playlist, Yin, Relax and Restore. So the first song should be Storm Boy. And we're going to start in Shavasana this evening. So laying down on your back. Option to keep a slight bend in the knee, especially if you've got any issues with your lower back. Just keeping a little nice bend in the knee. And letting the arms fall down either side of the body. And before we do the practice, I want us to just take a moment to just start to arrive onto the mat, onto the carpet, onto the bed, wherever it is that you're practicing this evening. And I'm really feeling the kind of the pull to really slow down the practice this evening and focus on the hips and the lower part of the body. So gently closing down the eyes. I want you to start to see if you can just melt the back into the ground. Start to just notice any patterns of the mind, any parts of the body that are talking to you, maybe with some aches or pains. And then just starting to feel a natural rate of the breath. So whatever's happened this weekend or today, just acknowledge that that no longer serves you. That's staying off the mat. And everything that you have with you on the mat, any sensations that come up, any thoughts that come up, I want you to see if you can work this evening with the intention to bring the awareness inwards. So especially at the moment, we've got a lot of external stimuli, basically making sure that we're constantly thinking, constantly having to analyze information. And this evening, I'm going to try and take the practice for us so that we really have an awareness inwards. So bringing our attention, our focus, and our awareness on what's happening inside the body. So inside the muscles, inside the organs, the mind, all the fascia, all the nerves, everything that's happening within the body all day, every day. Bringing our awareness inside. So all the external stresses and all the external thoughts gently ease away. So as a group, the intention this evening is bringing our attention awareness so that we can start to learn to listen to our inner selves, the true version of ourselves. When we peel back all the negative layers that can build up in life with the stresses, connecting to that part of us where we feel completely at home, completely genuine. And then starting to deepen the inhale and exhale. So we've got a few more moments here in Shavasana. And before we start to move the body, I want you to just let go of anything that you feel that you've brought the practice that might distract you. Maybe thoughts of what you're doing after class, thoughts of the week to come. Just start to imagine them slipping away from the body, a bit like hot liquid or smoke from a candle. Give yourself permission for the next 60 minutes to just focus on the practice. And if the analytical mind starts to talk in the next 60 minutes, bringing the attention back to the breath. So gently starting to deepen the inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Deepen the inhale for the count of 4 through the nose. And exhale through the nose for 4. And then making sure that we're nice and connected with the breath. You're just going to place your hands on top of the stomach. So option to put them on top of your belly button, one on top of each other, or option to put your hands so that they mirror your ribs. So fingertips come either side of the belly button, not touching, and the hands just rest on the side of the body. Keep the eyes closed. See if you can walk your shoulders slightly away from your ears so the neck is nice and neutral into the ground. If you've got straight legs, then maybe just bend your knees so your feet are onto the mat. Let the knees fall into center line and knock into each other so the pressure's taken off them. They can just completely relax. And then we're going to start our yin practice with a pranayama exercise. So breath, bringing some life into the breath, life into the body, changing up the energy and connecting to that prana, the energy of life. So taking a deep inhale through your nose for the count of 4. See if you can feel the belly rise up against your hands. As you get to the top of the breath, I want you to hold your breath. Relax the shoulders as you do this. And then exhale slowly through the nose. After you've exhaled that breath, just pause for a second. So taking that again with a 4-way breath, taking a deep inhale this time for the count of 3. Hold at the top, see if you can let the shoulders be relaxed, the throat be soft as you hold that breath. Relax the forehead. Exhale out through the nose. After that exhale, just pause in complete stillness. Bring your awareness with the eyes closed to the third eye, so looking in between the eyebrows. Relax the eyelids. Just keep that focus. Taking a deep breath in for 3. Feel the belly push into the hands. As you hold that breath, feel the belly nice and strong. As you exhale out, feel the shoulder blades soften into the mat. After the exhale, just pause in complete stillness. Continuing at your own pace for a few more rounds. So a 4-way breath, inhaling in, seeing if you can extend the inhale a little bit further each time. Hold the breath, feel the oxygen sending it all to all parts of the body. And then as you exhale, just really feel the body melt a little bit more into the ground. If you struggle to pause at the end of your exhale, and see if you can soften the throat. Remind the body it's safe to be completely still for a moment and then start the breath again. If you lose count of the breath, just start again from the top. 4-way breath. With every inhale, imagine you're sending that breath right to the belly. Really push the belly into the hands as you take an inhale. As you hold, just visualize all that oxygen, all that energy, the prana, just really reaching out into every part of the body, to the fingertips, right to the toes, all the way around the torso and the head. As you exhale, soften the shoulders, soften the hips, soften the knees. As you pause, remember the intention to focus on the awareness inside, connecting with that inner self. Continuing at your own pace for a couple more breaths. Challenging yourself to hold the breath in and breathe in for a little bit longer this time. Maybe counting to 5 or 6. And after the next exhale, don't rush. When you naturally get to the last breath, gently hugging the knees in towards the chest. Let's take our knees with each hand, so left hand on left knee, right on right. And for now, I just want you to hug the knees in towards the chest, start to feel the coccyx and the hips start to gently come off the ground. So really squeezing the knees in. You can hug the knees as well. So really grasp the hands over the knees. And then gently release the knees slightly away, but keep the hands on the knees. And then we're going to draw circles with the knees. So taking the knees back away from the body and then drawing them round in nice circles. So just starting to check in with the joints in the hip today. Notice how they're feeling. Using the breath here. As we inhale, we take the knees away from the body. Take them round in the circle. As we exhale, finish off that circle and come back to center. So try not to wait for my cue for the breath, seeing if you can use your own breath to guide your movement. It's your practice, no one else's. And the key is to start to listen to the breath and let it guide you. And after in the next circle, just changing direction. So bringing the knees towards the chest on the inhale, and then on the exhale, taking them round away from the body and then gently back in. Maybe just being observant of how one direction feels better than the other. So for me, this feels a little bit uncomfortable compared to the opposite direction. Just checking in whichever feels best for you. One more big circle with the hips. And then when you're ready, let's place that left foot onto the ground. Let's straighten the right leg into the sky, straightening that leg. You might not get the leg straight, especially if you've got tight hamstrings this evening. So just see how straight you can get that right leg. Make sure that the hips are on the ground. So maybe place your hands on top of the hips, just so that you make sure that the right hip hasn't lifted off. Straighten the leg as much as you can. And then on the inhale, you're going to bend the knee so the right knee comes towards the chest. On the exhale, we're going to straighten the leg towards the sky. We're going to do that together as a group for the count of 3. So inhale slowly, knee to chest for 3. Exhale slowly for 3. Push that heel away as if you're kicking something towards the sky. Inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, kick away towards the sky. Taking that at your own pace, maybe going for a little bit longer and inhaling for 4 or 5. Or if you're struggling with the longer inhale, just take it at your own pace, maybe a little bit slower. Really push away as you straighten the leg, and then as you inhale, really bring that knee close to chest. Taking 2 more of these at your own pace. Seeing if you can stick with the breath, even if that right leg's starting to get a little bit tired. Use the breath as the prana, the release of energy into the body. Gently release that right foot to the ground. For now, just keep the feet into the mat. Just close down the eyes. Start to notice any sensations in the right leg compared to the left. Starting to notice the prana, the energy in your body. As you gently inhale the left leg towards the sky. And then again, and the same on the opposite. So on the inhale, we're going to bring that knee towards the chest. On the exhale, you're going to straighten that leg towards the sky. Doesn't need to be high up, it can be low down. The idea is that we're getting a nice stretch in the back of the leg. So inhale together towards the knee. Exhale, straighten that leg away from the ground, away from the body. Taking it at your own pace, inhale in, really bring that knee towards the chest as much as you can. As you exhale, straighten and really stretch out the back of that leg. Really use the breath. So breathe first and then the movement follows. We inhale, bring it close towards the chest. And then as we exhale, we flow the leg straight. Taking a couple more of these at your own pace. One more inhale, knee to chest. On the exhale, you're going to straighten that leg towards the sky. And then gently release the leg back to the mat. Take the feet mat width. Let the knees fall into center so the knees are falling in. Touching. And then very gently rolling over onto your left side. Option to tuck the knees so you're in a bit of a fetal position. Tucking yourself into a ball, or you can have your knees straight. And I want you to walk your left hand so that it's straight up down the mat. So the head's going to come and rest on the left arm. If that doesn't feel comfortable, you can grab a cushion and just prop your head on the left arm. Prop your head on the cushion. Find a comfortable place for the knees. Maybe you need to wiggle your hips to get a comfortable spot. If your arm doesn't feel right above the head, you can place it down and just lean your head on a pillow. The idea here is that we're going to try and isolate that right shoulder. So we've got a benefit of the weight of the body into the ground, the gravity. So find a spot where you can just completely let the body be heavy into the ground. Try and keep a neutral neck, so nice space between the chin and the chest, so there's a straight line down the back of the spine. And then on the inhale, I want you to reach the right hand towards the left above your head. And then you're going to take that right arm up to the sky and then gently back down towards the hips and then forward. So we're going to do some big circles with this right arm, reaching it up towards the sky on the inhale, and then on the exhale, bringing it down past the hip, reaching forward, back up. Seeing if you can really isolate the shoulder by letting every other part of the body be completely heavy. Using your breath to work through these big circles with that right shoulder. Continuing the inhale and exhale at your own pace, and just move at your own pace. And then after the next big circle, I'm just going to bring the movement in slightly closer towards the body. So bending the elbow and just taking some circles round. So almost as if you're rolling your shoulders forward and back, but laying down on the ground. So we've got gravity to help us. So maybe drawing a circle with that elbow as it's bent. Really getting deep into the shoulders, remembering the breath. Inhale in, exhale out. Seeing if you can really get deep into that shoulder blade, really taking the stretch nice and wide. Clicks are welcome, but just be careful if you have any like pain or anything that feels as if it's kind of a nerve or anything like that. Just be really careful and take it a little bit slow. And then you're going to change direction with that elbow. So I've just took my elbow back and now taking it forward, and vice versa. Starting to slow down the circle, almost as if you're moving through treacle in slow motion. And then when you're ready, gently bringing that right hand down to the mat, using your hands to push up and then changing sides onto the right. So you can just roll over on the opposite side. I'm just going to change this way so that you can see me. Probably be easier to just roll over. So that you're laying on your right side. Again, knees into the chest, or you can straighten the back feels right. Right arm down the mat with the head into the mat if that feels comfortable. If not, just a little cushion or a blanket or top just to go on top of the right. Under the head. So again, making sure that we're nice and comfy, making sure that there's space between the chin and the chest so you've got a nice straight spine. And then again, just remembering what we're doing here, we're using gravity to really try and isolate that left shoulder. So let the body be heavy, close down the eyes for a second. Switch off the muscles of the legs, the side of the back, the right arm, even the neck and the head. And then option to keep the eyes closed, or maybe gently blink them open as you reach that left hand up towards the right hand above your head. And then take a nice big circle, take the hand of the sky, gently back down to the hips, and then reaching back round and taking another circle. So keeping every part of the body still, we're just moving the arm. So as you take an inhale in, and then as the hand gets gently towards the hips, start to exhale and complete that circle. Slow down the movement as if you're on slow motion. Notice all the clicks and all the muscles that you're starting to warm up in the left shoulder. Taking one more big circle. And then when you're ready, again, bending the elbow, keeping the arm a bit closer to the body this time. You're just going to start to draw circles with the elbow. So almost imagine that you're stood up and you're just really bringing your shoulders forward, drawing a big circle with the elbows so the shoulder blades are really pinched together at the back. Just moving that left shoulder all the way in the joints. Using the breath, the deeper we breathe, the more we're going to send it to that left shoulder. And then changing the direction of the circle, so taking the elbow forward and back, or vice versa, whichever was right for you. Slowing the movement down. Bringing your awareness back to the breath. One more big circle, really slow. And then when you're ready, rolling yourself onto the front of the body. Making a little pillow with the hands. I want you to place your right cheek into the mat. Legs straight down the mat. Close down the eyes. Just start to feel the stomach as the rise and fall with the breath pushes into the ground. Extend the inhale for as long as you can. Hold the breath at the top. And then exhale out. Inhale in. Hold the breath. Exhale out. Gently bringing the head back to neutral. Use the hands to gently push yourself up, and we're going to come into a Sphinx pose. So in Sphinx, we want to really protect the lower back, so we're going to squeeze the bum cheeks and the glutes. And then gently push yourself up so that your elbows are very slightly forward away from the chest. If you've got any pain or discomfort, you can take your elbows further away. So the further away, the less pressure on the back, and the chest is going to come towards the ground. If you can bring the elbows slightly closer toward the body, you'll notice that the front of the chest and maybe the top of the stomach is starting to gently come off the ground. Keep your gaze in between your hands. Spread the fingers so the palms are nice and connected with the ground. Push the forearms and the palms into the mat. Squeeze the glutes to protect the lower back. See if you can soften the shoulders away from the ears. Really powerful pose. See if you can find a place of stillness. Start to notice what's happening in the body. Gently close down the eyes. Start to bring the awareness inwards. Can you feel any tension in the body that you just need to just let slide away? Can you feel any tiredness, any aches or pains? Continue to use the breath and just focus here for a few more moments. Really extending the inhale, exhale for as long as you can. So inhale deeply and exhale. On the next inhale, see if you can slide the hands away from the body. Gently bring yourself down to the mat, making a little pillow. This time the left cheek's going to go into the hands. And just relax into the mat with the head twisting to the right. Taking a couple of breaths. And then when you're ready, hands are going to come to the mat, and you're going to gently use the hands to push yourself up. So we're going to come to a tabletop position. So we're going to work towards frog pose, which is quite intense on the hips. Working on an intense, well, intense is probably the wrong word to use. A deep stretch into the hips to your own level. So not taking it too far at all. But you're going to take your knees mat width. So as wide as the mat, or if you've not got a mat, then just take your knees as wide as you can and then see if you can sit back into the hips. So the idea with frog pose is that we're getting into the deep fascia and the connective tissues in the hips. So before we start, just take your knees as wide as you can. Bring your hands onto like as if you're in tabletop, and then just make yourself a promise that you won't take this pose past your point of edge. So listening to the body and just using the breath to take us a bit step by step. So the first step is we're going to step our feet out so that they look like frog's legs. So the feet are going to be pointed out, really flex the foot, right and left. So the feet are slightly out from the knees, and then making sure that the knees are nice and relaxed into the mat. If the knees are sore, you can do this reverse, so just laying on the back and doing the exact same. We'll do it laying on your back if you've got any knee issues. And then we're going to see if we can sit back into the hip sockets. So using the hands to really stabilize yourself in front. On the inhale, take a deep breath in. And then on the exhale, see if you can gently work your hips back towards your heels. You might just go a centimetre, a millimetre. You should start to feel a bit of a deep hip stretch. If you need to, you can gently take the knees a little bit wider. Using the breath here, take a deep breath in. And then on the exhale, take the hips back towards the heels. Gently bringing the hips back over the knees. Option to come down onto the forearms. It can be quite useful actually to grab a cushion. You can use the cushion to just lean the forearms onto the mat. So working this at your own pace. If your knees are really sore and you've got any knee injuries, then make sure that you do this on laying on your back, just with your knees bent and trying to separate the knees away from the body. Otherwise, you're going to inhale in, and then on the exhale, just gently edge the hips a little bit closer towards the heels. So even just a tiny bit can do. Start to feel that stretch in the hips, close down the arms. Even if you don't feel as if you're in the pose much, but you can feel it in the hips, and that's the right place for you. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, just see if you can take the hips slightly back, even just like a little minuscule movement. Find a place of stillness where you can just hold this pose. Never in pain, but see if you can find your edge of comfort. Option to come down completely onto the floor with your forearms. The breath is the difference here between getting out of the pose straight away and holding it for a bit longer and making sure that we're getting as much as we can from the pose. Take a deep breath in through the nose with a count of 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top of the breath. And as you exhale out, just see if them hips will create a little bit more space to move a little bit further back. The mind will wander if we don't focus on the breath. So continue to breathe in, hold the breath, and out. Use the breath to distract from any distracting thoughts, bringing it back to the awareness of the breath and any sensations in the body. Just a few more breaths. See if you can get a little bit further with the hips, really opening up into the inner hips, the hip sockets, the hip flexors, the psoas muscle, which is responsible for our fight or flight. Making sure that we're releasing any tension that's naturally built up in that area. Take one more deep breath here. And then on the exhale, come out of frog, whichever way feels best for you. So for me, I prefer to put my hands onto the mat and just bring my weight and my body up off the ground. And then gently ease forward and then back, whatever way feels best for you. And then I'm going to invite you to just take whatever movement feels intuitive. So it can be quite nice to take a counter pose. So the opposite of what we've just done, which for me would be to sit on my heels and just to lean back, opening up into the front of the body. Maybe you want to take child's pose, maybe shavasana. Whatever pose feels natural, try and just listen to the body. And then when you're ready, setting up for the next pose, we're going to come into pigeon. So again, if you've got any knee issues or you want a bit of a softer approach, you can come onto your back and do exactly the same, but in reverse. Otherwise, in pigeon, you're going to come to tabletop. And then I want you to gently walk that right knee towards the right wrist. And then the right foot can either stay where it naturally falls. If you want a deeper stretch, you can bring the foot a little bit higher, so it's a bit more of a 90-degree angle. Otherwise, just let the foot fall. I quite like it to fall quite in line with my left hip. That feels right for my alignment. Just listen to what's right for your body. And then with the back leg, you're going to make sure that it's nice and straight into the mat. Walking yourself nice and tall. See if you can align your hips nice and straight. So if I was stood behind you, your hips should be completely straight into the mat, not lopsided one way or the other, which can naturally happen in this pose. If you're not sure if your hips are straight, then just gently move your hips left and right, and then see if you can find a place, the middle ground. Option to stay there if that's enough for you, or option to gently come down onto the forearms. A pillow or a cushion can be really handy here. Gently release the front of the body if you can do onto the mat as much as possible. You can reach the arms out in front of you, or quite a nice pose can be to bend the elbows, bring the hands at prayer, and bring them to the back of the head. Find your pigeon pose. If you're doing this in reverse pigeon, then laying on your back, you want your right knee on your right foot on your left knee, and then grabbing the back of that left leg, pulling that left leg towards you, and you should start to feel a stretch down the right thigh. So whichever pigeon you're in, whether it's traditional or reverse pigeon, close down the eyes and just find a place of stillness. And we're going to hold this pose for a couple of minutes. So just remembering the dedication that we made at the start of class, the intention to bring the awareness inwards. So resist any temptation to come out of the pose. Resist any temptation to make it easier. And just let the body naturally fall into the pose a little bit further. With every exhale, seeing if you can let the body just soften into the pose a little bit more. Remembering the breath. If you get distracted, just gently bring your awareness back to the inhale, pause, and exhale. Acknowledge that with every breath, every moment we hold in this pose, we're releasing deep tension, deep stored emotions, any negative energy that we've collected on the way. You're in reverse pigeon, then with every exhale, just bring that left leg a little bit closer towards the chest. Taking 3 more rounds of breath here, really deep inhales. And then exhales. 2 more breaths. And then after your next exhale, reverse pigeon, just gently release your feet to the ground. If you're in pigeon, then again, just take whatever way feels natural for you to come out of the pose. The hands can be really useful to lift the body up and then just shake that right leg out. Take any movement that's intuitive, maybe a quick downward dog. Stretch the legs out, get that blood flowing back into the right leg. And then we're going to come straight onto the opposite side. So left knee towards left wrist this time in pigeon. Back leg walks straight down the mat. Again, check that the hips are straight. You can gently place your hands onto each hips and you may start to notice if they're a little bit out of line. Otherwise, just walk left and right, gently rock left and right, and then find the middle point. Again, sit nice and tall. And then on the exhale, gently walk your forearms down to the mat. Reverse pigeon. This is the opposite leg. So left foot is on the right ankle, and then just bringing that right foot closer towards the chest. Closing down the eyes if they've opened. Remembering the dedication to the practice is to sit with the silence, deepen the stretches, so that we can learn to focus on the awareness inwards, feeling so fully connected to our inner selves that we feel like we are exactly where we should be, exactly who we should be, completely ourselves, completely at peace. Giving yourself permission to just relax into the pose a little bit further. Easing that right leg towards you if you're in reverse pigeon, or letting the hips sink a little bit heavier into the ground. Holding here for a few more moments. And that last bit of benefit from the pose by really letting yourself fully relax into the pose. Use the breath to go a little bit deeper. Take one more cycle of breath. Deep inhale for as long as you can. And exhale out. Gently release the legs in reverse pigeon. Or coming from traditional pigeon, just releasing that left leg back. Again, taking any poses that feel intuitive, maybe a quick counter pose, a child's pose, maybe. Whatever pose feels intuitive to you. And then come into a comfortable seated position. We're going to do another pranayama exercise before we come to relaxation. So really setting the body and the mind up for a state of relaxation here. Sending our energy and our awareness to the intention that we're working towards creating a place for the body to be in a position where it can heal itself from any issues, any disease, any tension, any aches or pains. Bringing the mind into a place where we can completely relax without any distractions. So if you don't feel comfortable sitting on your knees, you can sit on your bum with your legs out straight. You can even lean against a wall. If you really need to, you can do this laying down, but I would recommend that you try and do it sitting up, maybe with a cushion behind you if it doesn't feel comfortable. So finding a place where you feel nice and tall in a seated position. Hands are going to come in front of you on top of the knees. Palms are going to be face down because we want to feel nice and grounded for the evening. Make your spine nice and tall. Make sure there's a nice grapefruit sized space in between your chin and your chest. Gently close down the eyes. Option to keep the eyes closed if you can, or you can gently blink them open. On the inhale, we're going to reach the arms up towards the sky. And then in the exhale, we're going to bring the elbows down towards the chest. Sorry, down towards the side, so towards the waist. So as if it's pinching in the sides of our waists. So on the inhale, we're going to reach up to the sky with the arms. And then in the exhale, we're going to forcefully get rid of that air by bringing the elbows down each side of the body. So taking it a little bit quicker. We're going to inhale up. Exhale through the mouth as you bring the arms down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Continuing at your own pace. Inhale up. Exhale down. See if you can really reach up. Spread the fingers as you reach up. And as you exhale, really bring the elbows in as close as you can towards the chest. Sorry, the waist, side of the waist. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, really sigh it out from the mouth. Option to stick the tongue out on the exhale to really get rid of any stale energy with lion's breath. Keeping the awareness on the breath, continuing with a nice rhythm with this. Get yourself a nice, comfortable rhythm where your focus is completely on the breath. We're getting rid of any of that stale energy, any tension, any fear, any hurt, any of the stuff that we've had a lot of to contend with in 2020. Use the breath to get rid of it with every exhale. When the arms start to tire, bring the awareness to the breath for a few more moments. Acknowledging this work is within the body's capability and limits, setting ourselves up for relaxation. Taking a few more. And then gently bringing the hands down to the knees on the next exhale. Keep the eyes closed. This time we're going to tuck the chin towards the chest, let the head be heavy. Start to notice any energy in the arms. Keep the chin towards the chest, but see if you can let the head be a little bit heavier. On the inhale, take the left ear towards the left shoulder. And then all the way back, and then right ear to right shoulder. So moving really slowly, taking the chin to chest, left ear to left shoulder. All the way back, right ear, right shoulder. Taking a couple of circles here with the neck. See if you can really let the head be heavy and let the body guide you into a nice deep neck stretch. Remembering the breath. Take one more big circle with the neck. And then when you're ready, gently bring the head back to neutral. Setting ourselves up for Shavasana. I want you to see if you can use your cushions for a supported Shavasana this evening. So ideally having a cushion underneath the back of the knees so that when we come to lay down, the legs are off the mat, completely supported. Option to have a cushion down the back of the spine. So maybe a pillow or a cushion, just so that the spine is very gently off the mat. A long cushion can be used here, or whatever it feels right for you. Setting the feet nice and wide, toes point out. Relax back into the ground. Hands are going to come to the ground with the palms facing up. And wherever your hands have fell, I want you to take your hand a little bit further away from the body. Walk your shoulders down the body away from the ears. See if you can really tuck the tailbone under. As if you've got a tail, you're trying to tuck it under so the spine's nice and long. If you need to, get a blanket or put some socks on so that the body is nice and warm. Acknowledging that all the work you've done on the mat this evening is working up to this point. The corpse pose, Shavasana. Taking any last minute adjustments that you need to. And then finding your place of stillness in Shavasana. Starting to let go of any awareness of the breath. Let the body continue to breathe in and out at its own natural rate. As you start to feel a sense of relaxation wash over the body. See if you can bring your awareness to a state of nothing. So no attention on the breath, no attention on any movements. Just complete awareness of just being present. Complete stillness, complete silence. Nowhere to be, nothing to do. Just enjoy the pose. Starting your Shavasana practice, I want you to bring to your awareness 3 things that you feel grateful for today. Start to notice where you feel this feeling of gratitude in your body. Any parts of the body it brings up the sensation, any sensations. Maybe any colours that come up when you think of these 3 things that you feel grateful for. As you let the body be heavy into the mat, just silently repeat to yourself in your mind, I give myself permission to fully surrender to the pose. I give myself full permission to surrender to the pose. Letting the body be completely heavy. Starting to feel the body, all the internal sensations. giving the body the chance to come to a natural place of healing, restoring any energy. If there's any distractions in the mind, then just bring your attention to the weight of the body. Starting to scan down from the head. Starting to notice any sensations in the forehead. Relax in the forehead. Starting to notice any sensations in the scalp. Completely relaxing the top of the head, the side of the head, back of the neck. Starting to relax the eyelids and the eyebrows. Imagine you've got a warm eye mask on top of the eyes and the eyebrows. Or maybe some gentle lavender oil being massaged into the eyebrows. See if you can stimulate this sensation by imagining that feeling. Starting to relax the cheek and the jaw. Gently separate the jaw so there's a small gap in between the teeth. And just relax the tongue. Starting to feel the throat relax into the neck. Starting to feel the weight of the shoulders into the mat. Starting to feel the weight of the left arm down to the elbow and the wrist and the hands. Down the right arm, down to the elbows, the wrist and the hand. Starting to feel any sensations in the heart area. The front or the back of the heart. Starting to notice any sensations in the stomach as you completely relax the stomach, the energy around the belly button, down to the hips. Starting to feel the weight of the legs into the mat. The left leg down to the ankle. And the right leg down to the ankle. Starting to feel the weight of the full body. Acknowledging how often in life you really give yourself permission to be completely still not busy at all, no tasks to do, no messages to respond to. Just being completely present with anything that is happening inside. Giving yourself permission to fully enjoy the last part of Shavasana. Gently starting to bring your awareness back to the breath. As you bring your Shavasana to a close, reflecting on these words and what they mean to you. Because true belonging only happens when we present our authentic, imperfect selves to the world. Our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance. Starting to acknowledge how the body feels as you gently inhale and exhale a little bit deeper. Roll over onto your left side of your body and tuck your knees into your chest. Keep the eyes closed. And an option to finish the practice here if that feels right for you, honouring your body and what it needs. Otherwise, pushing yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Seeing if you can keep the eyes closed and keep that focus on the light that should hopefully feel nice and relaxed and content. Gently finding a comfortable position, taking any movements that you need to, maybe rolling the shoulders, bringing the awareness back into the room and the body. Hands are going to come to the knees and we're going to keep the palms face down so we feel nice and grounded. Round the fingers so they kind of grasp onto the knees. So spread the fingers nice and strong. Find a straight, nice, comfortable position. Close down the eyes. And together as a group, let's just start to check in with how we feel. Maybe we feel as if we've got rid of a little bit of tension, a little bit of tiredness, any aches or pains. Maybe we're just grateful for ourselves for spending 60 minutes on the mat. Some of the benefits of yoga will come immediately with the sensation of relaxation. Some will come as we continue to dedicate time on the mat. To start to remove any of the negative tension and start to come back to the imperfect version of ourselves, the true version of ourselves. Trying not to be anything but that what we are. And having the faith to just be that version of yourself with everyone around you. Gently blink the eyes open halfway. As you inhale, gently reach the arms up towards the sky, nice and slow. And then as you exhale, bringing the hands down to the heart. And the inhale, sweep the arms up, gather up all that energy that you've just created yourself with the breath and the movement. As you exhale, bring it down to the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bring it down to the heart. Last one. Inhale, let's reach up towards the sky. Keeping your hands at prayer. Pausing there for a second and really reaching up towards the sky, lengthening the sides of the body. As you exhale, gently bring the hands down, pausing at the third eye in between the eyebrows, knowing that you are always loved and accepted. Gently bringing your hands down to your lips, knowing that you always have people there to support you. And gently bringing your hands down to your heart, knowing that you can always connect to the inner you, the true version of yourself, remove any negative energy. The light in me sees and acknowledges the light in you. Thank you so much for letting me guide you through a Sunday night practice. Being grateful to yourselves for spending 60 minutes out of your day and hopefully feeling the benefits after a really good night's sleep. Gently bowing your head to your hands into the practice. Namaste. Namaste. Well done.
Namaste.
Thank you.
You're welcome.